Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the LibreOffice Calc tutorial. If you missed part 1, I have given the link in the description box below. In this part, I will show you some other useful basic features of LibreOffice Calc. Let's start with conditional formatting, which is used to dynamically highlight cells based on values as they change. So let us say, for example, I wanted to format this set of cells differently. So on the Home tab, I can use conditional formatting. I'm going to come here and click on conditional formatting. So there are a few things that you can explore here. And what I'm going to do is to first choose the data bar. So what it does is, it'll just simply color the cell. So if I don't do anything and just go ahead and press OK, you will see that it shows a bar chart inside the cells. Cells having larger quantities, they will be completely filled with color, and cells having smaller quantities will be less filled with color. So you can change this color. You can come to conditional formatting. Once you have applied this formatting, you can come here and click on manage, and you can come and edit this. So click on more options. You will see the color choices here. These are the two colors. It's going to show positive values in blue and negative values in red. I want to show positive values in green, so I can come here and choose green, and then just simply go ahead and press OK and OK. So you will now see these values in green. If, for example, any figure is negative, so you will see that the cell is now being shown in red color and it's going in the opposite direction. So this is how you can employ conditional formatting. If you want to get rid of conditional formatting, just go to conditional and manage, and then just click on the formatting that you want to get rid of and press remove. So that formatting will go away. So we can use conditional formatting in another way. Just select all these cells, come to conditional, and instead of choosing data bar, choose the first one, condition. And I can then, put conditions here. So for example, if I wanted to find out all the cells that have a value greater than 30,000, because these are cost centers for me, I'm going to come here and say cell value, and then come here and say is greater than, and then I can type this value 30,000 and then choose a color scheme. So there are many presets here. So I'm going to choose bad. There is also good. You can explore these or create your own color scheme using new style and following through. I'm going to come here and click on bad, and then just simply go ahead and press OK. So all the cells that are greater than 30,000 will be colored in red. Let me just select all these cells once again, and then I can go back and add another condition, and I will come to manage this time and then click on add. So I already have one condition, I can add another one. So I'm going to come here and click cell value is less than 30,000, and I can come here and choose good. I want to display all these cells in green color. So I'm going to come here and click on OK, and then go ahead and click on OK. So you will see that another condition is being added here. So all the cells that are less than 30,000 are in green, and all the cells that are more than 30,000 are in red, and this is dynamic. So say, for example, if this was to change, and let us say if we were charging 6,000 here, so this cell will now be more than 30,000, and it will also change to red. If I revert this figure back again to 2,000, it's going to change back to green. So this can be very useful. To get rid of this formatting, we can always come here, go to conditional, manage, and then remove any formatting that we want to remove. Let's now talk about another useful calc feature called data validation. Let's say, for example, if in this cost per person cell, I don't want people entering decimal numbers, that is, I want people to enter whole numbers, and I want to restrict data entry to only between 15,000 and 18,000. And in this cell, that is the number of persons cell here, I want people not to enter any decimal numbers and whole numbers only between 12 and 14. I can do that with data validation. So you can come to the data tab and you will not find data validation immediately visible in the options that are shown to you in the first screen. So you will have to come here and click on this button here to expand the data tab options, and then come and click on validity. So the validity box is going to open and you can choose here whole number, and in the second drop down you can provide a valid range. So you can say I would like to have people enter numbers between 12 and 15. They must be whole numbers. And on the last tab here, you can provide a custom error message. If somebody has made an error, a message will be shown here. So enter values between 12 to 15. So this message can be typed by you. So this is the first criteria tab, and this is the message tab here, the last one. So let us just go ahead and click on OK. So if somebody now tries to say, for example, I'm trying to enter 11 here and press enter, it is going to come and show me a error message, the one that I had typed. And if I say, for example, wanted to type 11.5 and press enter, so it's going to come back and show me the same error message because this is now supposed to be a whole number. And when I press OK, it reverts back to the previous value. I can only type in numbers between 12 and 15. So if I type in 13, that is perfectly acceptable. If I type in 14, that is perfectly acceptable. But I cannot type in anything else beyond 12 and 15. So you can actually limit entry and avoid entry errors by validating data at the time of entry. Let us just go back to data and click on validity. If you want to get rid of validity, just come here and click on all values and everything will be back to normal and all values will now be accepted, that there is no data validity operating on this particular cell if you come here and choose all values. Let us quickly see one more data validity. You can actually create a drop down from which people can choose. You can explore others also. So I'm going to come here and instead of whole numbers, I'm going to click on list, and then I can just come here and type my list. So I can say 12, 13, 14, 15, and I'm going to go here and press OK. So you will see a drop down available here. And if you come and click on this, you will have a drop down from which people can choose values. Somebody tries to enter a value here, say for example, if I entered 56, it will come back and show me the error message that I had typed before. So this is how you can create a drop down and people can choose values from a drop down. Let's now talk about data protection. Say for example, I just want people to have access to these two cells and no other cell. So what I can do is I can protect this entire sheet. So let me tell you the concept of protection. So if you click on any cell and then right click and choose format cells, you will see that there are a number of tabs here. The last tab is cell protection. So when you click here, you will see that all cells are by default protected. This checkbox is on for all the cells in this sheet. It is just that protection is not really activated. To activate protection on this sheet, you can come here and click on, and the same is applicable to these two cells as well. So if you right click on them and click on format cells, you will see that they are also protected. All cells are protected by default. It is just that protection is not visible. So to protect a sheet, you have to come to the review tab in Calc and then click on protect sheet and then provide a password. So I'm going to give a password and repeat that password one more time. Even in the protected state, you can allow certain things to happen. You can choose some of these things. Just come here and press OK. So when you do that, this button becomes blue, indicating that the sheet is now protected. And you will also see a lock symbol here on your financials sheet. And now if you want to enter any value in any cell, say for example, if I wanted to change this cell, it will come back here and tell me that this cell is protected. If I come here and try to enter a value, it will not permit me to enter a value. I can click here, I can see the formula, but I cannot change anything. All cells are protected by default. To remove the protection, just come to review and click on protect sheet, and then given the password, and the protection is now gone. There is no lock symbol here, and the sheet is now unprotected, and you can enter values as normal. So if I want to open only these two cells to somebody with whom I am sharing this sheet, I don't want them to mess up my formulas. So what I need to do is to open up these two cells, unprotect these two cells. So I will select them, right click, open format cells, and then go to cell protection and uncheck. So for these two cells, protection is now unchecked, which means that they will remain open. All other cells are protected by default. I have chosen only these two cells. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And then I will come to the review tab and now protect my sheet. So I'll come and click on this, give it a password, repeat that password, and press OK. So if I now want to enter something here, say for example, it will not permit me to do that. I cannot change anything on this sheet. If I make an attempt, it will just come back and say everything else is logged. But if I come here to these two cells, I can then make a change and it will be happy to accept that particular change. So people can play around with these two numbers. It is 15 to 86. If I made it 13, there's no problem because this cell is open. I can type to my heart's content here, enter values, play around, and so on and so forth. But it will not let me enter data in any other cell. So this is how you can protect a sheet. Review, protect sheet. To remove protection, just come here, type in your password, and then just press OK. The problem with passwords is that if you do this, please make sure that you write them somewhere because you tend to forget them and then your sheet remains logged. So just make sure of that. Just come here and this lock symbol will now go away. The sheet is now unprotected. From the review tab, you can also add comments if you wanted to for certain cells. So for example, if I choose this cell, I can come here and click on comment and I can just type in something. And then maybe I can come here and type in another comment. So go to review and comment. So the cells which have comments will have this red dot on the top right. And you can come here and type one more comment here. Go to review and click on comment, profit. So some cells have comments. If you mouse over on this red dot, you will see the comment. So if you wanted to annotate certain cells with comments, you can do that quite easily and provide some kind of explanation that will make the meaning of that cell more clearer to the reader. You can come to review and you can show all the comments together. So you will see all these comments on. You can hide all these comments as well. If you wanted to edit a particular comment, you can come and edit that comment and retype it. So there are lots of things that you can do here. So in this manner, from the review tab, you can also insert comments. If you wanted to move a cell to another location, you can do that quite easily by clicking on the cell. The only thing is that you have to select the cell. To select a cell in Calc, you just click on the cell, then hold down your left mouse button and select two cells, come back again to the original cell. So only one cell is now selected, and you can now grab this cell and move it wherever you want it to go, and it will be happily ported to the new location. So another way to select a single cell is to click on the cell, press the shift key and click on that particular cell to select it, and then move it to wherever you want it to go. Moving a cell does not alter its participation in formulas. So those formulas will be automatically adjusted with the new location. So you can just grab hold of it and bring it here and drop it back again. If you wanted to move a range of cells, select all of them and then grab hold of them and then just simply go ahead and move those cells to a new location. So you can move a range of cells by selecting them, grabbing them with your left mouse button depressed and moving them to a new location. So if you want to move an entire column or row, you can click on that column and then just simply grab hold of the column with your left mouse button depressed and move it to an empty area of the sheet and drop it. If you want to bring it back again, grab hold of it, left mouse key depressed and bring it back again. So this movement works quite easily if you are dropping a column in a blank area. But what if I wanted to move this column, say in between D and E, where there is already existing data? So if I try this trick on the left hand side, let us say, for example, I grab hold of this column and move it here. So you can clearly see that this column will be now replacing the data in column D. So if I drop it here, data in column D will be overwritten. So while this trick works in moving columns onto blank parts of the sheet, it will not work if you are trying to move data in parts of the sheet that are already having data. So let me just revert this back. So if I want to move this column in between two columns, I am going to select this column and then press my Alt key and then grab hold of the column with my left mouse button depressed. Now you can see that as you move, you are not seeing a full column, but a line that is actually showing you the exact position where the new column will be relocated. So I want to relocate this column from its current position at F to its new position between D and E. So I have pressed the Alt key and then I have grabbed hold of this column using my left mouse button depressed, and I'm making sure that this thick line is appearing between D and E, and then keeping my Alt key depressed, I'm letting my mouse button go. So that column will now be relocated at its new position. It's important that when you are leaving this at the new location, you keep your Alt button pressed and just release the left mouse button. So you will find that you have relocated data at a new location. If we can try this once again, select the column, press the Alt key, grab hold of this column by depressing the left mouse button in any part of this blue selection, and then just simply relocate your column at the new location. Currently it's showing that it will be placed between C and D, and I'm just letting my left mouse button be released and the Alt button is still being pressed. So when I drop my column here, I can reposition my column and then I can release the Alt button also. So this is how you can easily move columns. The same applies to rows. You can select a row, press your Alt button, grab hold of the row from any part of the blue area, and then just simply go ahead and reposition the row and drop it. So you will find that the row gets repositioned. So this is a very simple trick, but can be very handy if you wanted to move columns or rows to a new location. I wanted to show you a few other options that can be very handy and useful as far as these sheet tabs go. You can reposition a sheet tab just by simply grabbing it and then moving it to a new location and then dropping it. So you can see that by dragging and dropping, I have brought the sales sheet from the last position to the first position. just grab hold of the tab and then just keep moving and bring it to a new position and drop it. Right click on a tab and you will see many options. Some of these options I have already demonstrated in part 1. I wanted to show you a few others. So for example, you can hide a sheet. Say you had a workbook in which you had many sheets and a particular sheet was not relevant to a certain audience. So you can just come here to hide sheet and then just click on it. So the sales sheet is now no longer visible. To see that sheet again, just right click here or right click on any tab and then just come here and click on show sheet. So when you do that, you will see all the sheets that are hidden. In case there's only one sheet that was hidden, that is the sales sheet. So I'm going to come here and select it and then just go ahead and press OK. So the sales sheet will now be visible. What I can also do is right click and I can move or copy a sheet. So this is a really handy feature if you wanted to make a copy of this sheet in this file or move or copy this sheet in another spreadsheet file. So let me start by creating a copy of this sheet inside this file. So just choose this option. You're going to see two options here. One is for moving and one is for copying. I'm going to first choose the copy option and it is showing me that is going to create a copy of this sheet in this file itself. This is the name of the file, untitled1, and you can position where this new sheet is going to appear. So I'm going to just click on move to the end position, but you can really choose any place after which this sheet will appear. These are the tabs that you see here, and then just simply go here and press copy. You can provide a name here if you wanted to. So just go ahead and press copy, and a copy of the sales sheet has now been created in your file, and you can then just simply make changes, etc. So let me just get rid of this. Now what you can also do is you can move or copy, and in this particular case I'm going to make a copy, but I'm choosing this drop down and mentioning that I want to make a copy of this sheet in a new document. So the sheet will remain in the present document, which is untitled1, but a new document will be opened and a copy of this sheet will be placed in that new document, new spreadsheet file. So just go ahead and choose this. So it's saying that we are going to make a copy in a new document, and just go ahead and press copy. So a new file is now created, and you can see that the sales sheet has now been placed in that particular new file. It doesn't have any other sheet, and this is my original file. So you can see my other sheets in this file, and the sales sheet continues to be in this file because I made a copy. What I can also do is come here and choose move and copy. And if I had an existing sheet, instead of moving it to a new document, I can move it to an existing sheet. The sheet must be open. And so you can just simply choose this and place a copy in an existing sheet. So let me show this to you. I have an existing sheet that I have called warehouse. And this is just showing some data about parts being stocked in a warehouse. It has only one sheet, sheet 1. And it's just showing a very different kind of data set here, warehouses. So I'm going to go back to my original sheet, and I'm going to right click and choose move and copy sheet. And then I'm going to make a copy of this sheet in the warehouse file, and then just go ahead and press copy. So when I do this and go back to my warehouse file, so you will see that a copy of the sales sheet is now available in the warehouse file. So let me just delete this from the warehouse file. And now the warehouse file has once again only one sheet. And let us go back to our original file. So this is our original file. This time around, I want to actually physically move this sheet from this present file into the warehouse file. I don't need this sheet here in this file. So I can right click and go to move or copy. And then this time I'm not going to choose copy, I'm going to choose move. And I'm going to come here and click on warehouse and then go ahead and press move. So if I move back to my warehouse file, I now see the sales sheet here, but this sales sheet is no longer present in my original file because I chose to move it. Now, how do I get it back? I can come back to my warehouse file and do the exact same operation here. Move or copy sheet, and I'm going to move it, and I'm going to come back here and click on my original document and then just simply go ahead and press move. So this sheet now goes out of this file, which is the warehouse file, and it comes back again to my original file. So just right click and you have lots of options to move and copy sheets, and this can be really very handy. So let's now talk about sorting and filtering. So here we have sales representatives and the total sales that they have made, and we want to sort them in descending order such that the sales representatives that have performed the best will come on the top. So what we can do is we can just come here and click anywhere in this block of data. So I'm going to come here and click on a cell, and then I'm going to click on the sort button here. So when you do that, you see this dialog, and it's just showing you how the sorting will be done. So in this particular case, let us start by sorting on total sales. So that is exactly what I have chosen here. There's a little drop down here. So you can choose any of these 4 fields. I am choosing total sales. And then instead of ascending, which means smaller to larger, I will choose descending, which means larger to smaller. And that's exactly what I want to see, the higher figures on top. You will also notice this little checkbox here. It just says that Calc recognizes that the first row is having headings, so it will not attempt to sort the first row. So this checkbox must be on. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So you will now see that the block of data has been sorted in descending order, and the best performing representatives are on top. Notice here that representatives 3132 and 1117 have the exact same sales figure. So if we wanted to bring a change in the sorting order of these 2 entries, once again we can click anywhere in this block of data, then click on sort. So we have initially sorted on total sales, and that has yielded this result. We can now use a second column to further sort this sorted list. So I'm going to come here and pick region. So what I'm essentially saying is that if 2 entries are same on total sales, then decide the case on region. So in this case, north is on top of west in terms of region. If I choose descending, west will come on top of north. So if this is a decision that I have made, I can come here and click on OK, and you will see that the second sort key is now in operation. So you can sort any block of data using the sort tool. Let's now have a look at how we can filter data in Calc using autofilter. So we have this block of data. The first line is the headings line. So just click anywhere in this block of data, and you can come and click on autofilter. So when you do that, you will see that drop downs appear on the heading row, and you can then say, for example, filter values based on certain conditions. So for example, if I wanted to find out what has been the sale in the western region, so I can come to the region column and click on this drop down, and instead of choosing all, which is chosen by default, I can just come here and click on west or any other region that I wanted to, and then just go ahead and click on OK. So I am now seeing sales figures only in the western region. If I wanted to include the east also, I can come here and click on east and press OK. So this filtering is really very handy, and I can see a subset of my data very easily. Notice that whenever you are engaging a filter on a particular column, this drop down in that column becomes blue, indicating that the data is being filtered on this particular column. So how do you get rid of the filter? Just come and click on the auto filter button once again. And you can also do this from here, this little button here, both of them are the same thing. Click on it one more time and you have your whole data set back again, and the filters from the heading row have disappeared. So let us try this one more time. Click anywhere in this block of data and click on auto filter. So you'll get your filter drop downs here. So let me just start by coming to region, and I can also filter by condition. So some options here are, you wanted to see top 10. If you had more than 10 results, you can see bottom 10. But the important option here is standard filter, and you can just click on this and you get a dialog box that you can use to enter many conditions at one time. So I can come here and say region is equal to, let us say, north. Then I can come to this box and add another condition. And so let us say I'm saying and, then I can come here and say total sales is, pick up on this box, click on this drop down and say greater than or equal to this figure, and I can come and add another condition and then I can say total packages sold are greater than or equal to 10. So I have multiple conditions here on multiple fields, and then I can just come here and press OK. So you will see that this is the filtered data meeting all the three conditions. It is from the north region. Packages sold are greater than or equal to 10, and the sales figure is greater than the quantity that we had entered here. Notice here that the autofilter drop downs for these three columns are now blue, indicating that all these three columns are being actually used for filtering the data. And how do you get rid of this? So just click anywhere in this block and click on auto filter to switch it off, and you will get your whole data set back again. Now it would be nice if we could say, for example, if we were engaging autofilter and we want to also sum up the sales for each region. So this is not possible using the normal sum function, because if we try to use the sum function from here, it will keep showing you the total of all the rows rather than just the figures for the north region. So I'm just clicking in this block of data and switching this off. Let me get rid of this. So to get totals for just the filtered data, we can use the subtotal function. So let me just come here and click anywhere in this block of data and engage the auto filter. So I have now my drop downs on the heading row, and I will come to an empty cell and use the subtotal function. So just click on this and then write subtotal. So you will see that you have some information about the subtotal function. Just start a bracket and you will see what you have to enter to get results out of this function. It says function comma range. So there is a value that it wants before, and I'm going to write 9, and I will explain why I am writing 9 here, comma, and then it wants me to select a range that needs to be summed. So I'm going to come to my first and then select the entire range, and then I'm just going to come here and close the bracket. So I have entered subtotal followed by 9 comma and the range of cells that I want this function to total. So just come here and click on accept, and you get your total for all the regions, just like we were getting when we were using the sum function. But look what happens when we choose a region. So you can come here and choose north and click OK. So now the total is only being shown for the north region. And this is possible because we are using the subtotal function in place of the sum function. So this is a really handy function to use. If we were to come here and choose the eastern region, you will see the subtotal for the eastern region. And when you switch off the auto filter, remember to click on this block of data and then click on auto filter. You get your total for all the rows right here. So subtotal function can help get subtotals on filtered data. Now the question of why I use this 9 here. So let us go to help and click on LibreOffice help. So this will open the local help file, and let us type subtotal, and we are going to choose the first option, the subtotal function. So when you click on this, so you will see that these are the options that we can enter for the first part of the subtotal function, and I chose 9 because 9 stands for sum. And you can see that when I'm choosing 9, it is telling me that if I had hidden a few rows, the total will include those hidden rows also. But if you don't want those hidden rows to be included in the total, instead of using 9, use 109. So then it will ignore the hidden values. So if for some reason, instead of sum, I wanted to find out the average. So in the first part of the subtotal function, instead of using 9, I can use 1. If I wanted to find the count, I can use 2. If I wanted to find the max number, I can use 4, the min number 5, and other things here. So the first part of the subtotal function, you can choose from this list. As I wanted to sum, I have chosen 9. And if you want to ignore hidden values, if there were any hidden rows that you did not want to be included in the total, instead of this 1 to 11 series, you can replace the first argument in subtotal by 101 to 111 series. So you can find out more about this from the help menu. So this is the subtotal function, and it can help you total filtered values. There is one other interesting fun fact about totals, which many people fail to notice. Let us just get rid of this auto filter. So I'm back again to my full data set. So let us say we wanted to quickly find out the sum of these 3 cells. So you don't have to take out your calculator, just select these cells and read it from here. So it's showing you that the sum for these 3 cells, this is on the status bar. It is showing you the sum for these 3 cells is 366864, and is also showing you the average. If I select 4 of these values, it will immediately show me the total for those 4 selected cells. If I wanted to find out the total for these 2 cells, you can directly read it off from here. If you were to come on this blank area right here and right click, you will see that you can include more things. For example, if you click on maximum, so when you have selected cells, it will show you what is the maximum value in the selected list, and then you can also include the minimum. So you can then see that the minimum value in the selected list is this, the maximum value is this. So you can add more displays here. Just right click and choose them, and if you want to get rid of them, just click on them once again and you are back again to your normal sum and average. So this is a neat handy trick. If you wanted to do some quick calculations, you can just select the cells and read them off from here. Let us now explore some interesting features from the view tab here. For example, if you come and click on value highlighting, Calc highlights all the values on a spreadsheet that are either numbers or formulae. Formulae are shown in green and numbers are shown in blue. Everything else, like text, is shown in black. So you can quickly spot numbers that you can use in calculations and the formula that you have used on this sheet. If you click on the show formula button, it will replace the result with the formula. So you can have a quick check on the formula itself. Click on them one more time and they revert back. You can use this section here to adjust the zoom levels. If you want to get rid of the grid lines, you can click on view grid lines button here. So you will see that it becomes like a page, and you can have a clean sheet to display or use in whatever way you want it to be. Click on it one more time and you will see that the cell lines appear back again. Let me show you this feature. This can be a really handy feature. It is the split window feature or the freeze columns or rows feature. All this actually means the same thing. So let me use a sheet which has a lot of rows and columns, and I have downloaded this sheet just for demonstration purposes from the New York City Open Data Portal, and I will leave a link in the description box. You can also download this same sheet and use it to follow along. So this is the sheet. It has graduation outcomes, but we are not really interested in the subject. You will see that the first row is headings for each column, and this has a number of rows. So as you scroll down, you will notice that the heading row has vanished, and you are just simply having rows appear one after the other. And it also has a number of columns, so things that are not fitting on one screen. So as you scroll to the right or move to the right, you will see other columns that are not visible in the initial screen. And when we try to see this sheet, you will immediately see that the headings have gone now. So if you are on this position, you really don't know what these numbers actually mean because there is no heading row. So we can fix this by coming to the top of this sheet and then going to view, and you can come here and expand this box and say fix the first row. So when you do that, the first row is frozen, and as you scroll down, that first row, which is the headings row, will be available to you all the time. And if you want to get rid of this, just come here and click on this one more time, and the first column is now unfrozen. As you move down, it disappears again. The same you can do with the columns. So you can come and click here and click on the freeze first column. So now when you move on to this side, your first column is frozen and other columns are appearing. So these are really handy features when you want to compare data. And to get rid of this, you can just click on it one more time. And as you now scroll to the right, the first column disappears from the screen. So there are a few other tricks that you can use. Say for example, I wanted to freeze the first two columns and also the row. So I want to freeze these two columns and this row. So I can come and click on the first cell that is not involved in these two columns. As you can see, I'm targeting this cell here, that is C2. And this cell is not involved in the first row also. So this is the first cell that is not involved in the first two columns that I'm trying to freeze, and it is also not a part of the row that I'm trying to freeze. So this is that cell here. So I'm going to come here and click on this, and then just coming here and click on split window. So when you click on this, you now have a split in this window. As you scroll down, the first row will not disappear, and if you are scrolling to the right, the first two columns will not disappear. So you can actually split the window in any way that you want, and to get rid of it, just come here and click on this button, and that is gone again. Also do is, you will notice that there is a horizontal bar here. So grab hold of this bar and come here, and you can freeze any number of rows that you want. You can freeze the first row or you can freeze the first 10 rows. Just drop it here, and as you move, the first 10 rows are visible, and in the bottom window the other rows are scrolling. So you can do the same for columns also. Just, there's a vertical bar here, just grab hold of that bar, and if, say for example, you wanted to freeze the first 5 columns, just bring that bar here and drop it, and as you move to the left or right, you can see the first 5 columns being stationary or frozen and other columns appearing. So if you wanted to compare the last 2 columns with the first 5 columns, you can quite easily do that, revealing those 2 columns. There's another way of getting rid of this split window line. You can just come and double click on the line itself, so that line will go away. Otherwise, you can just click on the split window button. So this is a useful feature, and You can use it to compare values on very large sheets. So if you want to show these figures with a currency sign, you can do that quite easily. Just select the cells and then just come to this box here. Currently it is being shown in the number format. You can come here and choose currency. So when you click on it, you will see that the currency symbol of your area will be shown here. If you want to change this, you can just come back again to options. So from tools, options, or this hamburger and options, the exact same thing, and click on these language settings and expand them, and then click on languages. So you will see that your default currency is being automatically defined by the location you are in. If you want to change this, you can just come here and choose, and say for example, if I wanted to have the dollar sign, I can come and put it here. So the moment you press apply and OK and redo this once again, you will see that the dollar sign now appears. This should be automatically chosen by Calc for you depending upon where you are located. You can always go back and click on options and then just come back here and revert back to the default. Press OK, and when you do this one more time, you should see your currency return back again. So this is how you can insert a currency sign. So let us finally look at some options for printing sheets. So if you have a large sheet like this, you can choose what you want to print on paper if you wanted to do that. When you come to view, you have a few options here. You can come and click on print preview. So it will show you what is going to be printed on every page. So you can come here and click on the format page button here. And then you have a lot of options that you can choose from. If you click on the page tab, you can choose to print in the landscape format. And you can come here and press OK. So you will see that the orientation of the paper is now landscape. And you can see that this sheet has a lot of columns and all of them are not present on this particular sheet. So if you wanted to fit all the columns, you can come back again to format page and then click on the sheet tab. And right here you have an option for scaling. You can come here and click on this and you can choose fit print ranges to width and height. So when you click here, you have two options. You can choose to fit all the columns, and the second option is that if you keep this checkbox on, you will find that it'll bring all the rows also on one sheet. So we just want the columns on one sheet. We don't mind number of pages. So we can just switch this off. So we have chosen the scaling method fit print ranges to width and height, and we have unchecked height. But if you are checking this, all the data in this sheet will be compressed on one page, and of course it will not be readable. So in this particular case, we are only choosing the width, and we can come here and click on OK. So you will see, even though in very ridiculously small font, it has tried to bring all the columns on one sheet. So this is very useful if suppose you had 4 or 5 columns that were not fitting this sheet and you wanted to bring them onto one sheet. You can always come to format and click on sheet and then just choose this option and choose width. So I'm going to come back here and click on this one and revert it back again. So there are some other options also that you can choose. So one of them is headers and footer. So if you click on this, you will see that this page is divided into 3 sections. The center area, which is currently having the name of this file as header text that is being displayed right here. You also have the left area, which is this part, and you also have the right area, which is this part. So we can add something here. Say for example, if I wanted to add the name of my organization, so I can just write that name. And if I wanted to remove this name, I can come here and click on this and choose none if I wanted to. So there are a few options available here. So the important point is this, and we have added something to the left area, and we can just come here and click on OK. So you will see that this thing is appearing now in the left part of the header. The same can also be done with footers. So you can click on the footer tab, and currently it is showing you the page number, but we can also, say for example, write the name of our company in the footer if we wanted to, and press OK. So I'm writing in the right area, and it will appear on the right part of the page in the footer. So you can use some of these options, and of course when you click on print, it will start printing. So these are some print options that are available from the View tab when you click on Print Preview. Of course, you can also choose to print only a certain part of your sheet, and you can do that by coming to the Layout tab. And these options here permit you to choose a print area. So what you can do is you can just select what you want to print. Say for example, I was interested in only this part of the sheet, and I can then just come here and click on this button and say add print range. So when I click on this, you will see this button also becoming active. So you now have an option to clear this if you wanted to. So I have selected this range, and then I can go to the View tab and click on Print Preview. So you will see only this range is being shown here. There are no further pages to move on to, and you can just go ahead and print. And if you wanted to get rid of that print range, you can come here to Layout and click on this button, and you are nice and fresh once again to give another print range. Now there is one other important point that I would like to show you here. If we go to View and choose Print Area, and we have this very humongous sheet here. So as we keep rolling down different pages, you will see that the headings on the first page have disappeared on page 2. I go down and see page 3, so the heading row is not available here. So we can fix this again from the Layout tab, and you can just go and click on Edit, and you can just choose rows to repeat. If you wanted to repeat some columns, you can do that also, but then commonly this is what we normally prefer. Currently it is none. You can click on this and then come and click on any cell of this row here. So you will see the first row indicated as $1. You can click on this button back again, and you will now see that it is user defined. The none has changed to user defined, and it is saying that row 1 will be repeated on every page. And you can come here and click on OK, and then when you come to View and choose the Print Preview, you are seeing the heading row on page 1. As you scroll down to page 2, the heading row is still here. You can go to page 3, the heading row is still here. So you can make sure that the heading row appears on every page by going to Layout, and from these options, the print options, you can come here and click on the Edit button and choose that particular row in the rows to repeat box. So in part 2, we have seen some other basic operations in LibreOffice Calc 7.4. I am sure these videos, both part 1 and part 2, will surely help you get started on LibreOffice Calc. If you missed out on part 1, I have included the link in the description box. I will keep posting more videos on Calc demonstrating advanced functionalities, so keep watching this space. LibreOffice Calc is a great free and open source software, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks a lot for watching.